My name is Marilyn. I'm a targeted individual, a torture victim, a survivor. Okay, so you have to bear with me because I have one of the largest hives of terrorists torturing my brain and trying to dictate what words I will use and think. They're actually trying to live inside my brain. Some of the laziest people in the country. These are people who don't want a job. They don't want to hold down a job. They don't want to pay a mortgage. Most of them are poor people that are being taken care of, in my opinion. This is my experience, and I'm not interested in sharing my mind with people that are psychotic and taking advantage of the system. These people are pedophiles and rapists, attempted murder. They're selling crack cocaine to the public. This is one of the dumbest crimes ever. Why are you going to destroy the black community with crack cocaine and it's 2020? And why are you selling crack during a COVID epidemic? Obviously these people are not intelligent. So let's try to understand what's going on with the perpetrator. So I Googled intelligence and crime, IQ and violence. And let's see, this article, it's titled Intelligence and Crime, Measuring the Size of the IQ Crime Correlation. The central question of IQ crime studies is whether individuals with less intelligence on average commit more crime than those with more intelligence. That is, are IQ and crime negatively correlated? The best answer drawn from previous research is a qualified yes. So in this article, delinquents and criminals average IQ scores 8 to 10 points lower than non-criminals, which is about 1/2 a standard deviation. IQ and criminal behavior are negatively correlated at about R equals -0.20. Hershey and Henling, Wilson and Herrnstein. Here are 5 well-known studies that illustrate the correlation between IQ and crime. Terry Moffat and colleagues studied 4,552 Danish men born at the end of the World War II. They examined their intelligence, the test scores collected, and the men who committed 2 or more criminal offenses by age 20 had IQ scores on average a full standard deviation below non-offenders. Okay, next, Donald Lennon and colleagues studied 437th grade boys in Pittsburgh. They measured both IQ and self-reported participation in delinquent acts. Those boys who committed serious delinquent acts such as stealing cars, breaking and entering, or selling drugs scored 8 to 10 IQ points lower than the boys who had not. Okay, one more. Hakan Staten and Ingrid Klockenberg Larson followed 122 Swedish males from ages 3 through 30. They measured IQ at ages 3, 5, 8, 11, 14, and 17 and counted the number of registered criminal offenses through age 30. Frequent offenders, those men with 4 or more criminal offenses, average IQ scores of only 91 points. Sporadic offenders average 97 IQ points, and non-offenders average a full 102 points. Remarkably, IQ at age 3 significantly correlated with registered crime at Spearman's RHO equals -0.25. IQ at the later ages also correlated with crime around RHO equals -0.20. Any TAs that are mathematicians, please try to look into this because we need your help. Deborah Dena analyzed data from 987 African American school children in Philadelphia. Her data contained multiple measures of intelligence collected at ages 4, 7, 13, as well as officially recorded criminal offenses. Chronic violent offenders consistently had low IQ scores. For example, female chronic offenders were almost 4 times less likely to be in the top third of verbal IQ test scores than female non-offenders. Similarly, male violent offenders score 10 to 17 percentile points lower on measures of vocabulary, reading, and language than non-offenders. Okay, now I have used this crime against us, and I've tried to be scientific. I've collected data of things that they've said. I've asked them questions, their mind control perpetrators. So I'm going to give some of the criminal backgrounds of the people that are torturing me. Michelle Miller, she graduated from high school. Never. She did not graduate. I think she got to 8th or 9th grade. She is a rapist, a terrorist, a stalker, a crack addict. She's dangerous. She's a thief. She's a psychopath. Another perpetrator, Gary Albright. He's a child molester and a rapist. Michael Warden, rapist, never caught. And Charles Avery was caught. He's a registered sex offender, raped a teenager as an adult. He has tortured me the most out of all the perps. He's psychotically obsessed with hurting me and trying to have a relationship, which is fraudulent, where he abuses me, tortures me, and he stimulates himself. And he's actually gotten the hive to play this kind of sick, twisted game where they associate violence with sex. Brian Schaefer, or Brian Schiff, white male, 50s. He raped a female. She never pressed charges. He's being blackmailed by a rapist, Daryl Washington. He's a crack dealer, repeat offender. Most of these people have a criminal background. They've been arrested. Malcolm, he doesn't deserve that name because I respect Malcolm X. If his mother only knew what kind of psychopath Malcolm was. He's from Miamisburg. He has been arrested. He's dangerous. He's stalking me. And he's torturing me. Chris Ryan, white male from Kettering, Ohio. This loser's been stalking me for so long, he does nothing else. Now he's smoking crack. Me and my companion had decided to move to California. He believed that he should go to California too. That's how dumb he is. That he heard the thoughts of another person in the hive. We are all a bunch of people forced together. And many of these people do not want to make contact with me, and thank you for that. He took a trip with Marcus, and he doesn't deserve that name because Marcus Garvey is another one of my black heroes who helped found the Pan-African Panther movement. Sorry, that was actually a group that I was in. The Pan-African movement. The Pan-African Panther movement was a group I was in Dayton, Ohio when I was a teenager. Okay. So the IQ, I've pressed charges against them. I've made police reports, and I'm constantly being told that my purpose is to be abused. Right now, they're interfering with my ability to think critically, so that I can't defend my brain from these black men that are dangerous and these white supremacists. Now let's look at another article. So I just basically, these are all violent criminals torturing me. Research has consistently found lower cognitive ability to be related to increased risk for violent and other antisocial behavior. So this is a global effort to understand these losers. And what do they have in common? They're stupid. So, people with highly psychopathic traits are basically prison bait. and they end up being slaves. So I kind of want to talk about this, and this is not popular. This is something many activists are involved in, why so many black men are in prison. Okay? And trying to say that antisocial behavior is a result of white supremacy and racism. Can racism and white supremacy make you a psychopathic criminal? I don't know. Poverty can make you a criminal. I believe that. If you're at the poverty level and there seems to be no way out, you might steal food. You might steal money so you can eat, so your family can eat. You might break the law to get resources. Many people have done this. It's a desperate attempt, and many people do it globally. But this is America, and it's not the 60s, it's 2020. So what is the issue with getting employment versus becoming a criminal? And as you're contemplating as an American about breaking the law, and you know that there's consequences if you're caught, and to repeatedly break the law, what kind of mind decides to keep doing this activity? And when you're arrested en masse, why are we giving excuses for bad behavior and using old ideas to justify that the criminal is a victim somehow? How is a criminal a victim? I don't understand. If you steal something from me, if you break into my house, okay, I have the right to defend myself and my property. So why are we coming up with excuses for people that break the law? Okay? It's a choice. You're making choices. You're not mentally ill. You're stupid. Okay? You're not suffering from retardation. You don't have tumors growing in your brain. You didn't have a brain injury. You're a loser who has a low IQ, and you're harming us in the United States of America. And we want you to stop. So when you're making these decisions throughout your life about what to do and what not to do, do I hurt this person? Psychologically, physically, economically. Why do some people have to protect themselves from other people? And so you have to make a choice, and you have to be able to think critically. It's not worth it to hurt people. This is not intelligence. Okay? It takes a lot of discipline to be good, but it's possible. Some people are good by nature, but I don't need 50 people looking through my eyes. I never have. I don't consent. I do not want 50 people, no matter where they come from, what nationality they are, or what IQ they have. I don't consent to you violating my life. Okay? And so I think that you might be stupid for doing it in the first place, because I'm going to tell the cops. I'm going to tell the world, and I'm going to share all your information with every prime minister and I have done this. I've sent my evidence to every prime minister of the world, press around the world, human rights advocates around the world, okay? Including Black Lives Matter. I'm going to expose you. All right, so that's something that I would like for everybody to think about who's a targeted individual, to think about IQ and violence, and an analysis of the relation between IQ and crime in the United States and wherever other TIs are. This is not something, psychologists are not needed for this. The police department. We need the police department. Thank you for listening.